I think one of the most important aspects of video games, and one that's somewhat under-discussed, is that they can place you into a context that few other forms of entertainment can.
Playing a game is just another way of understanding the thing. In fact, in my opinion, it's the best way of understanding the thing and the experience that's being depicted, if you want.
I think video games actually have the leg up in some ways in regards to other mediums with empathizing with the protagonist, because the second the player picks up the controller and either moves through into the game space in first person or sees his avatar on screen and sees that he's making it walk around, he's projecting into that avatar and he's empathizing from the get-go, from day one. If that character gets shot and falls over and dies, the player's mirror neurons fire and he feels like, oh my god, I just died, like I don't want that to happen. And that's very, very powerful. You don't necessarily have to have a 15-minute opening sequence where the character skateboards through Santa Monica Pier while 80s music plays in the background. You're like, wow, this is a really cool guy I want to be, you know, like a John Hughes film or something like that. You don't necessarily need that at the beginning in a game.
I think there is a human tendency to wonder, you know, how would I have done in that situation? When you read about history or you hear about something, you know, someone who'd done something really cool or really famous or really impressive, you kind of wonder, you know, how would I have reacted to that situation? Would I have done the same thing? And games give you an opportunity to explore that question. You know, if I was given the reins of a great civilization, you know, how would I handle that? Or if I was back on the Spanish Main in the days of pirates, you know, what would I do if I had a great railroad empire to run, or any of the fantasies that video games allow you to fulfill. They allow you to fulfill them in your own way, in your own style.
やっぱりそれだけじゃなくて、そのゲームをプレイしてですね、その中で考えたこととか体験したことが自分の実生活でもやっぱり役に立ってほしいっていうのがありまして、そこで知った知識とか、あるいはそこで感じたことを自分の生活で、使える、そういったものをなるべく入れるように、あるいはそういったメッセージとかテーマを入れるように、ゲームを作ってます。メタルでいうと、核の問題とか、ちょっと社会的な問題とかも取り扱っているのはそういうことで、ゲームを通してそういうことを、知ってもらって、ゲームの外の、自分の生活にも役立てることができると、そういったものを、作ってきましたし、これからも作っていきたいと思っています。
I think design is an intrinsically humanizing discipline or practice, because you really need to think about someone else. Even if you are just doing a game to express your own personal point of view, you're still doing it so that someone else can sit down and understand that point of view.
So a good example is the game Dysphoria, where you play Anna Anthropy's life. And Anna Anthropy is a transgender woman who has had to deal with a lot of different issues as part of, you know, going and becoming a transgender woman. And in this game context, rather than sort of telling you about her problems, or rather than sort of like, you know, beating you over the head with, you know, you must understand my situation type of thing, she very, very beautifully just kind of puts you in the situation and leaves you in a game-like context to solve the problems of her existence. So whether it's avoiding catcalls, or whether it's trying to pay for health insurance, or whether it's shaving, or like all of these kind of little micro parts of her day, but within a game context, it's so much more powerfully rendered than if you just sort of read about it.
A kind of simple underlying procedural system can make for a beautiful, inspirational, sort of ephemeral experience.
One of the biggest problems with depression is that a lot of people have a stigma against it. They don't understand it. They think that it's just a bad mood. It's that it can be solved by positive thinking or by just snapping out of it. And really I wanted to push back against that, and not only to show what, you know, to tell parts of my own story, and let other people know that they're not alone if they're out there and suffering with it. Because one of the nasty things about depression is, like, it makes it very hard to talk to other people. It makes it very hard to seek help or do much of anything. So I wanted to illustrate that sort of lack of ability to do as you please by taking choices away from the player, the worse the depression got. So through using a game mechanics, I'm using that to sort of show, not tell, how depression works for a lot of people who live with it.
You know, I think the basis of a lot of storytelling, you know, the fact that we find it enjoyable, is empathy. The fact that we can kind of, watch another person or hear a story about another person and imagine ourselves in their place very easily. It's actually kind of remarkable how easily we can empathize with somebody else.
A few years ago, we had things like the Game Design Challenge, where Eric Zimmerman would pitch these crazy ideas for video games that sounded completely nuts, like what kind of video game might win the Nobel Prize? And now this year he's ending it because, in part, it doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore.
It's hard to hate someone when you've walked in their shoes and done what they've done and seen what they've lived through. And we can let you live other people's lives, and no other medium has ever been able to do that. So what we can do is we can start a dialogue, and that changes the world.